Hey everybody, it is Saturday in November 2024. It is Saturday, sit back and chill out. We're going to talk about photography, software, hardware, and some issues and things that happened to me at a workshop. So are we ready for this? Let's do it. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to the channel, this is dedicated to photography and as a photo artist and trying to push ourselves to think creatively out of the box. All right, with that out of the way, this is a different video that I do about once a month, and it's called Saturday Sit Back and Chill. It's my time to sort of reflect on some of the things I've done in the past here, but also taking a look at your questions and issues. So we're going to talk about 4 different things here. There'll be maybe half a dozen images I'm going to show. But if you're curious, I'm drinking a Merlot, and I know it's from Australia. I forgot I left a bottle upstairs and stuff. But anyhow, I want you to chill back, relax, get your favorite drink, whether it's water, beer, soda, whatever, and let's get through the issues and questions. Okay, so let me get my laptop here. There's basically four areas we're going to talk about. And by the way, thank you for everybody that's been sending me private emails. If you got ideas on things that you'd like to see covered in the future, my email address should be right here at the very bottom of the screen. It is stephenphotoartist@gmail.com. Okay, with that out of the way, I'm going to change my rules here on emails, and that is, if I don't get the approval to use your first name and last initial, I won't say your last name, then I'm assuming you don't want your name mentioned. Okay, so out of these 4 things, I actually got one person, and I'm going to botch up the name. I'm sorry, but let's get into the very first question, and that is, hey, and again, I'm not mentioning the name on this one. Will you be using Affinity Photo 2? Because I had mentioned that software in the past, but I really haven't been using it at all. And the answer to that is yes. I actually purchased the product because they offered 50% off, so I jumped on it. With tax here from Michigan, where I'm from, it was like about $37. So I'm looking at it more as a plug-in. But yeah, I really want to dive in and take a look at it because, excuse me, more in depth. Boy, it's a good time to use my voice. Because it seems like it's the second most popular imaging software out there that's competing against Photoshop. And you know my feeling about Photoshop. I mean, I think it's a great product. It's a heavy product, a lot of things to do that most people would never do anyhow or even use. And Affinity Photo 2 might be a better fit for you. So I would definitely go to the website, download the trial version, play with it, and see if you like it. Now, the reason I was sort of hesitant is because a lot of compositing work that I do with client, I do a lot of production work and batch processing and a plugin that I use, and they don't make anything for Affinity Photo. It's only going to work with Photoshop 100%. If I wasn't doing that kind of work, it would be very tempting to just jump into Affinity Photo. Because basically all the other stuff I do, typically it'll do for me. It's just that it might do it in a different way. So yeah, I'm going to jump into, we'll take a look at Affinity Photo more in depth. I'll do some sessions going on next year. I'm just booked solid for the end of the year. I mentioned earlier that I plan on totally cutting back on client work going into next year for multiple reasons. Basically, I'd like to get more time into my hands-on workshops. I do about a half a dozen one-day workshops a year. That's plenty for me. And I want to dedicate a little bit more time and start learning about YouTube, because I have no idea about how YouTube actually works. I just sort of dove in and started the channel, plus personal traveling, that kind of stuff. So anyhow, Affinity Photo, sorry I'm off on a tangent, but yes, we will take a look at that heading into next year. Now, next question and issue here, and it is, I'm going to botch the name. I think it's pronounced Isman, either Isman or Isman, I-Z-M-A-N. Last name is starts with a T. So if you are listening, I apologize if I botched up your name. So anyhow, the question was, have you ever used or made mock-ups in Photoshop? And the answer is yeah. And I use them quite often for presentation type work and stuff. And I've made a few, I've purchased some, but you know what? Hang on a second. I think that would be a great session. I'm going to look into doing an entire session on how to create just a basic mock-up, and we'll talk about um, what a mock-up is, but why would you consider even using one? Is there actually a benefit to that? So we're going to talk about that, and depends on the circumstances, but most of the time the answer is going to be yes. So we'll cover that. I never thought about making that a topic. So thank you, Isman, for the question. Yeah, I think we should do a session totally on that. I'll try to get that in this year, if possible. Okay, let's talk about. Oh, I went to a workshop. Let's talk about workshops really quick. I've always felt that workshop, your hands-on type workshop, is always like the icing on the cake because it's easy to sit back, watch a lecture, take some notes, get some oohs and ahs. But when the day is over with, how much of that do you actually go back and apply and practice? And I know most people don't. They get busy with life and they ended up not using anything or very little of it and stuff. And I always like hands-on workshops. I always made it a goal every year to go to one major one because I'm isolated with a group of other photographers, no distractions. I don't want no outside calls. I shut off my phone. I'm focused all day on the task at hand at that workshop. And non-interrupted. So I try to do stuff at home. I get calls, I get interruptions, other things happen. Life gets in your way unless you shut everything down and not let anybody, contact you or something. But anyhow, I went to a workshop, Bonnieville's Salt Flats. I recorded this when I got back. I got back in the middle of October. So even though you're watching this in November, I got back and it was like my throat's dry from the weather and stuff, the dryness out there. But anyhow, let's talk about quickly. I'll show you some images I took. And again, the importance of a workshop. And then after that, I've got another issue and question that somebody asked, and it's basically a hardware question. So anyhow, Bonneville Salt Flats, for anybody that's not from the United States, it's in the United States. It's in the state of Utah. Where we were at is right at the border of Nevada and Utah. And we were staying in a little town called Wendover, really cool place. And anyhow, these are the three gentlemen that put it on for us. I think it's pronounced Panoptics. Sorry, Panoptics Chopstick. The Chopstick guys, two guys. I'm in the middle of the shot right there. The guy on the right is Mark Behrens, and the other guy is partner Steve. Just a heads up, I've known Mark for years. Mark and I traveled together once in a while. We actually were working with the international training company, and sometimes they would book us together, traveling all over the place, teaching Photoshop. And most of the time when I was booked with them is when I was out west. Being from Michigan, they try to keep you in your same time zone, but sometimes they can't find somebody to teach a class. There's two of us to teach a class. So anyhow, Mark does a great job. He is just fantastic at lighting, working with strobes. And I just had a blast, 3 days of shooting with models. Next image here, there's just sort of behind the scenes. It's almost like a cavalry of vehicles, SUVs coming in with all our equipment, taking it out. And then we were working at different locations. We worked at Bonneville a couple times, but we also worked elsewhere. These are 3 out of the 5 models that we had right there. Just a great group of gals. Here's another one that I shot on the Bonneville Salt Flats. And here's another one that is, she is a ballerina from California. And oh my gosh, unbelievable how she can hold a pose and what she can do. Anyhow, we did this image right here is a sunset on, I think it was Friday night on the Bonneville Salt Flats. This next image was a sunrise at a secluded place. I think it was somewhere in Nevada because we are south of, West Wendover, which West Wendover is in Nevada, Wendover is in Utah, and they're only like about a 3 mile stretch. And the first mile you're in Wendover, and then you go past that, you're in West Wendover. Anyhow, we were like 20 miles, 20 minutes, I should say, to the half hour south of that, and unbelievable the shots that we were getting. So anyhow, back to the workshops. I'm just gonna. I have no affiliation with my friend Mark and his business partner Steve, but I'm gonna show you their website. The link will be in the show notes. If you're ever in the U.S. or you live maybe out west, even though 3 of us from the east side came to that workshop. And by the way, just because Mark was my a friend, I've known him for years, I went out there for really 3 reasons. Number one was nice to see him because I haven't seen him in years. I just kept in communication with him on social media. Number two fact is that it's out of my comfort zone. I typically don't shoot with strobes outdoors. I do it indoors. And I just, so this was like pushing myself out. And another thing is being with like-minded people. That's what I love doing, and that's the importance of going to a workshop. So I encourage people that, try to find some type of user group or somebody in your area, whatever country you're from. Even if it's just a couple of friends, hey, let's get together, let's come up with a shoot. I don't care if it's landscape, whatever your style of photography is. Do something together and focus on that to just be that like-minded type people together. You learn so much by making mistakes, correcting yourselves right there. All right, so I had a blast with that. I just encourage, if you ever want to go see them, check out the website, take a look at their roster for next year, for 2025. I know they're going back there again. They do this every year. I think this is their 7th or 8th year going to Bonneville. All right, and the last question I have here, and that is, somebody asked me, what kind of computer do I use, laptop or desktop? And easy, answers for this. And again, this is my choice for me personally, the type of work that I do. What I'm doing may not be right for you. So it's really a matter of your style and your workflow and how much work are you doing. So I use a laptop. I don't even know what model this is. It's an Asus laptop. I've had it for, I think, almost like 3 years, going on 3 years. It's ultra light. It's might be a 13 or 14. I can't remember. Definitely not a 12, but because I always go 13 or 14 on a laptop. So yeah, I use this only when I am presenting a workshop, doing a live workshop, that kind of stuff, PowerPoint presentation. I don't actually use it for client work. It slows me down. It's too hard to work on a laptop. I need a large monitor, and I've got dual monitors. And minimum monitor size for me is a 27-inch monitor. So I've got I can't say desktop computer. It's a desk floor computer. It's a monster. It's really big. It barely fits under my desk. It's super wide, so when I open up, I can get in there. And I built it myself. I like building my own computers because I'll buy the latest and greatest, say, what typically goes out of date most of the time is your motherboard capability, along with the processor chip that you have in your computer. So I tend to buy the latest and greatest, almost the top of the line chip. Now, it doesn't have to be the top of the line. I mean, I'm not a gamer or nothing, but it's going to be in between medium and the best you can get. It's somewhere in between there. And then all the other components. I've got 6 solid state drives, and 2 of them are NVMe, and the other ones are just your normal solid state drives for them. And I'm not going to explain why I keep on there. One is basically all my programs are on my C drive. That's it. There's no data, no nothing. My other drive is a D drive. It's a 2 terabyte drive. That's where all my projects go, and I archive all that stuff off all the time. And then I've got other stuff for all my templates and other features and other drives and other utilities. Bottom line is, I don't like dongles and things to plug in all the time. I just want to be able to work. And that's me personally. That's why I've got what I call my monster computer right there. I had years ago turned my computer on, a big loud noise like a gunshot scared the jeeves out of me. I jumped back, and it turned out that my power supply went. And So what do? I popped it out. At that time, I ran to a retail store, Best Buy, we have here in the States, picked up another power supply, slapped it back in, and I was up and running. So I just lost maybe 3-4 hours. Now I don't even think Best Buy carries stuff. You may have to order it. So the best bet may be Amazon because I don't have any kind of major computer store that's here close by to me in Michigan. So if I'm not in a hurry and I can wait 2-3 days from Amazon, I'll just order that. My point is this: that box will last me a long time. If I have to, my computers last 7 to 10 years. I'm just swapping out motherboards and the processor. I might upgrade my graphics card. I got a very high-end graphics card. But when it comes to monitors, I just want to say this quickly before we end on this, and that is one of the monitors has got to be a monitor that displays Adobe 1998 color space. The best bargain one out there is by BenQ. Now, I have no affiliation with them at all, so I'm not promoting them for you to go out and buy it. Go check out others, but they tend to be the best bang for your buck, I should say. They've got a 1080 monitor. They have a 2K monitor, 4K monitor. I've been finding out from other people it's tend to be a waste of money to get a 4K monitor versus you're better off getting 2K. And the reason that I want a big monitor is because I do print a lot and I do a lot of compositing. I need to pull in close and navigate around and pick up any anomalies or things that maybe shouldn't be there. I tend to miss it if I'm doing it on a laptop like this. And I know I could plug the laptop into a big monitor, but it just, where's all my drives and things to work with that, and the speed. Nothing, this thing can't even come close to the speed of my desk bottom. I'm going to call it right there. So anyhow, I can't say the name, but the one that asked the question, I do use the laptop, but I use it for presentations and when I do live workshops when I'm teaching Photoshop or some other techniques that have to do with photography. All right, so with that out of the way, I think we're done with the issues and questions. I'm just going to, encourage you people to get that camera out, practice, make mistakes, because that's how we learn all the time. Until next time, see ya.